Daniel Andrews' approval rating hit 71%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this release from Roy Morgan discussing the Victorian ALP, well, their popularity, and the approval rating for Dan Andrews. Premier Daniel Andrews is now at 71%. Now I know there are going to be some people typing feverishly in the comments, "It's fake, it can't be true." I reckon it could be. I honestly think it could be. I think there could be enough people that are happy with their savior. Maybe this is just a buzz for being given freedom once again. But I honestly would not be shocked at all if his approval rating was this high. I think a lot of people would be quite happy with his treatment and of the populace and the lockdowns and the restrictions on their freedom. What does that say for Australia? Are we more inclined to have strongman leaders or authoritarians take control of our lives? Is that a will the people want? Or is it just the buzz that's coming off with newfound freedoms, and give it a couple of months and they'll get frustrated with all the issues around their politicians? So let's have a look at this. Victorian ALP is at 58.5, streaks ahead of the Liberal National Party coalition, 41.5. Premier Daniel Andrews' approval jumps 12% to 71%. ALP two-party support has jumped 7% to 58.5 after the end of Victoria's nearly 4-month lockdown, compared to the LNP on 41.5, according to a Roy Morgan Snap SMS survey on Victorian voting intentions conducted yesterday and on Monday. And this news was released on the 12th, so last week. The Roy Morgan survey found 71% of Victorian electors approve the way Premier Daniel Andrews is handling his job, up 12% since mid-October, when 29% disapproved, down 12%. ALP primary support jumps, LNP support slumps. Primary support for the ALP is now at 45%, up 5% from 4 weeks ago, and well ahead of the LNP on 34.5%, down 5.5 points. Support for the Greens is up slightly to 11%, up 2 points, while support for other parties is down 0.5 to 5.5. A further 4% of Victorians are now supporting independent candidates, down 1%. So it looks like support of ALP is up on all fronts, and the Greens is up 2 points as well. ALP holds a massive two-party preferred lead in Melbourne and amongst women. The end of the lockdown has seen the ALP lead strengthen significantly among key demographic groups since mid-October, with Melburnians now supporting the ALP 62%, up 8.5, LNP 38%, down 8.5. Country Victorians have also swung behind the Andrews government, with the ALP on 52%, up 5.5, compared to the LNP on 48%, down 5.5% on a two-party preferred basis. Women have swung strongly in favour of the ALP on a two-party preferred basis. ALP at 62.5%, up 9.5%, everyone. These numbers are insane. The LNP at 37.5%, down 9.5%. Men are also now in support of the ALP on a two-party preferred basis, with the support for the ALP at 54%, up 4%, LNP at 46%, down 4%. Women and young people give highest marks for Premier Andrews' handling of his job. Nearly 3/4 of women, 74%, approve of Premier Daniel Andrews' handling of his job as Premier, up 11 points from mid-October compared to 69% of men. Approval for the Premier's handling of his job as Premier is correlated to age, with younger people giving the Premier the highest job approval. However, the biggest increase in job approval compared to mid-October was from older Victorians. Now over 3/4 of people aged under 35, 78%, up 5%, approve, compared with 71% aged 35 to 49, and 69% aged 50 to 64, and 64% of those aged 65 and over. So notice how the people most at risk and the most at risk demographic over 65 are the least approving of the Premier's handling. If this continues, and I suspect it does, you're seeing the young are leading more and more and more towards, giving up their liberties for the perception of safety. That's concerning. Socialism is growing in Australia, everyone, in the younger generations. A large and increasing majority of 82%, up 11% of ALP supporters, are even higher, and an even higher proportion of Green supporters, 90%, now approve of Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews' handling of his job. A sizable minority of LNP supporters, 40% up 9, now approve of the Premier's handling of his job, and 2/3 of supporters of independents and others. So this is quotes from the CEO of Roy Morgan. Victorian ALP, two-party preferred, supports jumped 7 points from a month ago, the end of Melbourne's 16-week lockdown. Respondents were also asked whether they approve or disapprove of the way Premier Daniel Andrews is handling his job when asked, and why do you say that? So let's see. Let's see why they said that. For 71% of Victorians who approved of the way Premier Daniel Andrews is handling his job, were mainly in praise of how he'd handled the difficulties of the pandemic and his willingness to take tough decisions and front up and explain what decisions were being made and why, and to get the job done and not be influenced by the media and not to follow through on his policies. There you go. Locking people up in government accommodation. I mean, that's it. This is what happens with fear, everyone. This is what happens with fear. He was a good, strong, committed leader throughout the pandemic. He's also working well on infrastructure projects. Aren't there certain infrastructure projects that are completely going off the rails down there? Didn't he cancel the huge one? What? Doesn't matter. The way COVID-19 breached the hotel quarantine was purely unlucky, so they're not even blaming him for that. Andrews followed science-based evidence. Did he? No, he didn't. No, and made daily appearances to provide facts to the public. Their daily session with the leader. He got the COVID outbreak under control by knuckling down and getting the job done, while everyone was playing politics around him. He's actually taking action to manage the situation, unlike the opposition, who have been constantly whinging to reopen everything at every single stage. He made the tough calls, even if they're unpopular, which is what makes a good leader. Because he just got out of the pandemic. Prior to that, there's been good development of roads, railways, and other infrastructure. No one is perfect, but he's done a good job through such a hard time. As I think, he has taken the difficult but necessary steps to protect the health of Victorians, while at the same time supporting businesses and the economy as best as possible. We looked at previous videos of businesses completely going under, people giving away businesses in Victoria. But this is what people are saying, everyone. He managed to get the COVID-19 pandemic under control in Victoria. Safety before political ratings. Victoria now has 0 cases. Control of COVID-19 after the resurgence. He acted on the advice of experts. He hasn't been political. He is an excellent leader. He turns up every day, is informed by the science. This is it. And is funding some terrific initiatives as we move to COVID normal. Oh boy, I hate this term, COVID normal. Informed by the science. All hail mighty science. Oh, wow. How many of these people do you think that say that have never even done a science subject? I'd bet a carton. I bet none of them have ever actually done an experiment or a write-up in their life, not even in high school. I'd definitely bet a carton. They just science and it feels like some people treat science as a god. Making sacrifices to it. They probably got a little picture of Greta up there and light a candle. I think he's done the best he can for us during uncertain times in the pandemic. It was a hard job, and he got us to the other side. But at what price? Some aspects of his COVID management could have been better, but overall he's done a good job. It's unprecedented times, and he's doing the best he can with so many unknowns. He's handled the second outbreak well, stuck to his plans amid public and media pressure. He made the decisions that needed to be made and wasn't swung by the media, because I don't think anyone could have done a job as effectively as Andrews did. The state has made a good recovery from the pandemic. How? But this is what people are saying, guys. Has Victoria made a recovery from the pandemic? Maybe they're all just tired because they can go out of their backyard. Because he lowered the COVID numbers and made our great state a safe place to live. Mr. Andrews has made the state safe from COVID, withstanding pressures from his opponents. Given the circumstances, Dan has done the best job possible. I think he deserves all the credit for the way he handled the pandemic. Is that a troll? While our lockdown has been severe, it has worked. A courageous, consistent, and scientific approach to the virus has paid off. He was there every day for us. What about the poverty that's coming out of this? What about the businesses and lives destroyed? What about the increase in mental health issues? They don't see this. These are voters, everyone. These are voters. This is why I'm arguing we need to shift the Overton window. More value needs to be placed on individual liberty. But is that even possible in Australia's culture? No need COVID cases for no new, I'm assuming. It's handling the pandemic. Dan has stood strong for Victoria, and now we're seeing that staying of course has worked. He's made the hard decisions and stuck to his guns. If not for the hotel security fiasco, everyone would be singing his praises. He'd be a hero. He showed his leadership during the second wave of the virus. I'm old and have several comorbidities, and he's helped keep me safe. There you go. Most of the oldies, well, yeah, actually, 64% of the oldies support him, but they're the least supportive. Coronavirus is nearly defeated through the tough and necessary measures taken by Andrews. He's got COVID numbers down to 0, and I feel safe. He's putting people's health first above all. He is fair, focused, strong, and compassionate. Who was there that could have been better? We've never faced anything like this since the flu pandemic years ago. Mistakes have been made, but he stuck to what the experts advised. Yes, but there's counter arguments to that. This is the thing. There's different experts saying different things. Do people not see that? Is that not coming out in the news? I mean, I could see that. I mean, if you just get in the headlines, he has demonstrated leadership in an incredibly challenging environment. Andrews has really cared about controlling COVID-19 in comparison to other parts of the world. It worked. He made mistakes, but things are good again, and persevered until he succeeded. He achieved what he set out to do, even though it's been tough. He's made choices that have kept me safe. Look at this. This is the thing. I think it fundamentally comes down to fear. People are scared, and people think that their leaders are personally protecting them. He steered Victoria back to a good position. Coronavirus numbers are down to 0. Let's have a look at some of the disapprovals. So, disapprovals of Daniel Andrews centres on hotel quarantine failures and the devastating lockdowns, as well as the alleged shortcomings of his character. The 29% of Victorians, only 29%, that disapprove of Premier Andrews' handling of the job as Premier, mentioned the bungled hotel quarantine, the harshness of the lockdowns, and the ongoing restrictions and inconsistency of policies in relation to COVID-19, and not properly considering the economic impact of the decisions made, and his alleged incompetence and lying. So, in Australia, 70% of cases and 90% of COVID deaths happen in Victoria. The Victorian government failed at hotel quarantine and responded too slowly when infections started to rise a second time. Oops. Not balancing the economy with mental health issues. Not happy with how we handled the hotel debacle. Hotel debacle quarantine. All restrictions should be lifted now. He stuffed up the hotel quarantine. No accountability and not listening. Too slow to reopen. I agree with the process to begin with. But too slow to react to the detriment of the economy and mental health. Well, the damage has been done now. He has failed to tell the truth regarding hotel quarantine. Due to the situation alone, we've had to have one of the highest and toughest lockdowns. He caused all the problems. Hotel quarantine disaster. Hotel quarantine was a job for his mates, and he stuffed it all up. Not consistent in the rules he set, and rules don't apply to all. 800 people have died because of his decisions. Because of all the mistakes he has made and not admitted to, instead I do not recall. He's arrogant, self-opinionated, and has dictator-like beliefs. He's a liar, dishonest, egotistical, dictator, dishonest, untrustworthy, spin over substance and truth. The hotel fiasco. Because of the restrictions. He is a liar. I believe it's his fault that we've been in lockdown for so long. He's incompetent, unaccountable, and dictatorial. He's taken far too long to get Victoria out of lockdown. Andrews has too much power. The state emergency should be bipartisan. He's achieved a wonderful outcome, but I'm against him having the state of emergency powers. Well, this is what our elected representatives have pushed through, everyone. He extended the lockdown deadline 3 times. He has no honor or integrity. The lockdown was far too long, so you can see here. So, the special Roy Morgan Snap SMS survey was conducted with a Victoria-wide cross-section of 818 Victorian electors aged 18 plus, conducted on Monday the 9th and Tuesday the 10th, 2020. And I'll let you go through the results here that they have. So, Roy Morgan is Australia's largest independent Australian research company, with offices in each state, as well as the US, UK. A full-service research organisation, Roy Morgan has over 78 years of experience collecting objective, independent information on consumers. So, there we have it, everyone. What do you think? Do you think this is a sign that Labor and Andrews is going to rush back in at the next election? Here's the thing. If you have friends that all don't believe this, maybe your bubble's just in that proportion of people that are disappointed. That can happen, particularly on social media. That's the danger of social media. But sadly, this looks like what's going on in Victoria right now. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, everyone. Are you in Victoria? Do you think this is accurate? Is this why you're planning to leave the state? As always, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays or Teesprings. You can support us using Gold Pass or PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode.